Good morning, everybody. A little bit icy, a little bit snowy. We've had a little bit of everything. 10 degrees this morning, but I figured, you know what? Let's get it out of its system. We got about 2 more weeks for babies, so I'm hoping we get this cold weather over with, get it over, and get some better weather. Girls, how we doing? We getting close? We'll go over and check with them here in a little bit. We're going to start out with the rams. Got something I want to show you in there. You know, I always said when I was doing this, I started doing these because I couldn't find any videos on raising a painted desert or horned-haired sheep or any of that. So that's kind of why I started doing this, because they have, well, certain things they do differently than maybe others do, especially with rams with horns, and I tried to do feeders and stuff like that. One thing is with sheep that's different. Rams especially, rams like to be hard on stuff. As you can see, a little run-in shed, and it's even missing the backside. That backside has been replaced twice now. My son-in-law bought those originally, had them with his rams, and as you can see, they were pretty tough on them when he had them. They knocked the backs off. I put the new backs back on it. Got one here, and there's a shed over there. You can see there's a piece there, there's one in. They'd actually knocked both those off. And we're gonna have to we'll blame Lomax for that. He's the one that was doing it. I saw him out there. Actually, you can sit in the house and hear him. Just bam, 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 knocking on the deal till he knocked both those boards off. Oops, let me watch the sun here so you're not staring at the sun. Anyway, he knocked them both off. My concern was he's gonna go over to the next shed or he's gonna go over to that one and start beating something else up. So I put it on, but I did it a little different. What I did this time, I put it on with a hinge. And I used bolts instead of screws and lag bolts up here to hold it in. And now you can hear him beating on it and then coming back and hitting him, and he kind of likes it. He keeps using it. I like it because he stays on this building and he's tearing up this one, or at least he's trying to tear up this one versus tearing up the other one. So when you got rams, sometimes you got to be a little inventive. Now I did take, when he started knocking them off, I hung him a tire. I had a little tire off my four-wheeler front, but they didn't seem to like the tire. And I don't know, maybe it just doesn't make noise. Maybe he likes the noise he makes hitting the plywood. But whatever the case, I put it on hinges. So if you have a situation like this with your own rams, they're tearing up your building, put it on hinges. So far, it's held for a while now. We'll see if it lasts. But got to be a little inventive with rams every once in a while. How you guys doing? I see Lomax is starting to get a little bit of a turnout now. You can see the tip of his horn. He's starting to get just a little bit. He's getting ready to form that curl. He's sitting at, what are we at now? February into February. He's got about another 7 weeks and then he'll be a year old. So he's still not a year old yet. All right, let's get over to the important ones. Let's get over to the ladies because they are just about 2 weeks off. And we got something we got to go through there. You know, as I said a little earlier, it's a learning thing for everybody. I've done, you know, you probably haven't watched my intro video, but I mentioned there, I've done cattle, I've done hogs, I've done horses, and all my life with livestock, but never sheep. So I'm kind of learning, and I'm learning yet. And I learned something new again, and share that with you. So maybe it'll help you out in case it ever comes up for you. All right, got the ladies up, eating a little hay, threw them out a little bit this morning. Just a couple weeks to go, but I'll tell you what, seeing some pretty big bellies there. You can look, Black, you there? How many you got inside there? Quite a few. Some big bellies, there's no doubt. Like I said, 2 weeks away. All right. As I said earlier, more than once, I do this so I can show you as I'm learning things as we go along. So if I make mistakes, hopefully I can show you the mistakes I made so you don't make the same mistake. Maybe save you a little bit somewhere along the line. Now, I'm not going to say for positive I made a mistake, but I don't know, deep down I kind of think I did. So, we remember, about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I started dealing with, I had a ram, had stew, and I had a ewe that I was dealing with a problem. They had worms, and I was worming them, had barber pole. You could see the swelling under the jaw. Eyelids were, the light pink inside. I could not get any prohibit, which is best for the barber pole. I finally got it. It was late. Didn't make any difference. Come December, I ended up losing both of them. So I lost them both. And, from what I've seen other people talking about in a lot of the Facebook groups, it has been a tough year for worms. A lot of people have been having problems. A lot of people have lost some rams, lost some ewes, and had a worm problem. Well, I got the same problem they had. So, fast forward to about 2-3 weeks ago, and Hershey in here, the one with that purple ear tag, I was noticing Hershey was a little loose on the back end, getting a little dirty back there, just like the others. And uh-oh, here we go, I got another one. So, but now I had prohibit, so I gave her some prohibit, and that was fine. And a week later, I gave her another dose prohibit, but to me, it didn't seem to be clearing up. I 2 doses, and I still wasn't that happy. And I thought, okay, we're gonna do this. And my vet is 45-minute drive or more away, something like that we use. But I had a chance to get a fecal sample. So I got a fecal sample from her, took it up to the vet, got back, and they got back to me later that day. It wasn't worms. She has cocci. Now, that's not something you see a lot of in adult sheep. I mean, they get it, she's got it. Usually when you're thinking cocci, you're thinking of lambs. You're thinking of your young lambs, and you're not thinking of the older sheep. But sure enough, she had cocci. Matter of fact, I asked, what about worms? Did you have any worms? And the gal said, she says, the first slide I took, I saw 2 eggs. That was it. And she says, the second, I had to do another slide, did the second slide, I didn't see any. So 2 eggs for them is, as far as they're concerned, that's non-existent. No worms. So she didn't have worms. She has cocci. Had the medication. My daughter had some of the medication on hand. She gives it to her kids on her goats as a preventive, so she always keeps some on hand. So we gave her some medication. That was on a Friday, about a week or so ago. Tomorrow, we'll give her her second dose, and haven't seen any loose stools around anywhere. I think we've solved that problem. We got it taken care of. But you got to come back and look. You got to come back and think. Did the ram, did stew, and did that ewe, was it not worms? Was it cocci? Did they have? I don't know. Everything looked like barber pole worms. A lot of people are having that problem with the barber pole worms, so it all made sense if that's what they had. And it seemed like it. Everything was that way, but could it have been cocci? It could have. So the thing you have to ask yourself is, did I lose a ram and did I lose a ewe because I didn't do a fecal? Maybe, I don't know. I will never know. I'll never know. I mean, deep down, I'm going to tell myself, I'd like to tell myself, no, they had worms. It wasn't my fault. But if it was cocci, it was easily prevented if I'd have just done a fecal back then. And I know a lot of people, a lot of people say, got to do a fecal. And I've always been one that, hey, it's where I got the stuff. I got various wormers. I know what worms to give. Do that stuff. I've done it, and I haven't done the fecal. And now I'm looking back and saying, okay, we're not going to do it that way anymore. From now on, we get something, we're going to do a fecal. We're going to make sure. I may well have cost myself a really nice ram and a really nice ewe because I didn't take the time to go do a fecal. So there's a mistake I may have made. I don't know if I made a mistake or not. Well, I probably made a mistake by not doing the fecal, but maybe it wouldn't have made any difference. Not being able to get any prohibit to handle the barber pole is the biggest thing there. But, whether I made the mistake or not, I don't know. But I'm going to let you know, so that way I'm going to make full suggestions from now on. You're not sure? Go do a fecal. Get a fecal done. You know, it doesn't cost that much. I hate to tell you, I don't even know what it cost me because they just send me a bill, so I don't even know yet what it's going to cost me. But if I save a ewe, it's well worth it. So if I lost a ram and I lost a ewe because of it, it was worth it. So don't do as I say, or don't do as I do as I say, I guess. So anyway, come back and look. Here's one of the, right here, this white one right here. Look at the belly on her. That is one of the 2022 ewe lambs that I went down and picked up down in Kansas. So definitely she's bred. We are going to take, we did ultrasounds a while back. When I did the ultrasound of the 5 2022 ewe lambs, 3 of them were bred. But the other 2 we didn't think were, but the ram had only been out 30 days. And so it's a little borderline. So what we're going to do tomorrow, my daughter said she'd come down with the ultrasound machine. We're going to run them in, and we're going to take the 5 2022s, and we're going to look at them again just to make sure if we got 3 or got 5. Down here on the end, the big wide one down there in the end, that's Dub. Yes, Dub, I'm talking about you. She may be one of the first. I think she was the one I saw get bred on day 1. And boy, I'll tell you what, this looks like a passel. There's a belly. And I believe we ultrasounded her and we saw 3. So we'll see if she has triplets. She had triplets last year. And everything else is looking good. The white one up front, that one we don't know, but I'm starting to see a bit of a belly. I think that was one we didn't think was bred last time. So the only one I'm kind of thinking is Pepper, the brown and white, right there. She's not real big. I'm thinking if anything's not bred, it will be her. And here's Hershey up front. She's the one we just got done taking care of with the coxie. A little thin on the back end, but that's from that. If we got that taken care of, she should be in good shape and we should be good. All right. Didn't really have that much, but I wanted to catch you up on that. Get especially on the coxie. If you're thinking, got a problem, do a fecal. Do a fecal, save yourself the grief and the second guessing of yourself down the line. Hopefully within a couple weeks, we'll be looking at babies. I'm hoping this weather straightens out. They are starting to talk like maybe a storm about mid-March. If it looks like that, we'll just take the long catch pin here. I'll just lock everybody inside. That way if there's any babies, they'll at least be on the inside. And hopefully we'll be back in a couple weeks and maybe we'll have little ones when we're back next time.